Hello, everyone. I didn't think we'll be coming back this quick here after last night's podcast, but here we are. I think we have to go for this sort of news, and that Ubisoft are bringing a load more games to the service. So I want to thank Barry and Kelly for joining us. So Kelly, how are you on this fine day?
I am very good, thank you. What about you?
I am outstanding as normal. And Barry, what about you?
Yeah, I'm really good. Thank you very much. Finished work for a few weeks now, so put my feet up and rest.
Oh, that's the best news. And Brandon is actually out at this moment, as we can see. But he's really excited about this news, and he wanted to jump in, didn't you, Brandon?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm unmuted.
Yeah, you're unmuted there. I clicked the wrong button there by mistake. What do you think about this news about Ubisoft, and how are you today?
I'm good. I have a face mask on, lockdown, and this makes me save a lot of money for not buying Watch Dogs and Bahana.
Yeah.
Today.
Yeah. Replay Plus has not been mentioned in this at this moment in time, but we'll just go through what has been mentioned. Basically, we are getting a load of games from Ubisoft. There's some big titles here, and there's actually a title which we're going to come to at the end, which hasn't been mentioned here, which is probably a next week announcement. So basically, what Stadia have done today, they have announced a load of games coming. We knew about Watch Dogs Legion, we knew about Valhalla, and we also knew about Far Cry 6. But the games that actually announced here tonight or today, depending on your time zone, is Assassin's Creed Origins, Watch Dogs 2, Assassin's Creed Syndicate, Far Cry 5, Far Cry New Dawn, Watch Dogs, which we sort of knew about, Ghost Recon Wildlands, and Assassin's Creed Odyssey. So before we go into detail about each of these games, what is your take straight away about this? Craig Gaming Man, what is your take off the bat?
Oh, the game?
About the game.
All the Assassin's Creeds and all the Watch Dogs. That caught me eye. That's what I want to play again. Hello?
Cool.
You guys hear me or no?
Yeah,
we
can hear you as well. Kelly, what about yourself?
Well, I think it's actually quite good because I haven't played like most of them Assassin's Creeds. I don't think I've played Watch Dogs.
Yeah, I think
I might have played one.
Mm-hmm.
But it would be good to give them all a wee go. So, well, because I like that last Assassin's Creed I played. So, to try and get the other ones to see what they're like.
Yeah. Barry, what's your quick take about this? And then we'll break it down into each of these games and we'll talk about them.
I mean, I think in terms of the announcement, my opinion is I think it's probably a precursor to next week. It's good to see. Obviously they're padding out the library with more Ubisoft titles, which is, what we've all been after, what we all want to see. And certainly, there's a few games in there. I've played quite a few of them already, but I'll be intrigued to see how much better the experience is on Stadia based on the point in time or the consoles that I may have played some of these titles previously.
Yeah, I'm just doing some teasing in the chat there about.
I realised I couldn't answer it because it's the same person that because I can answer via Cloudy. Can I say Halo?
No, it's not Halo. It's a Ubisoft game.
Halo.
What's missing here? Halo. It's always going to be Halo. Halo is always the answer. So we'll work through these games here first. We can briefly touch on this because I think we know about Watch Dogs Legion. Is coming out the 29th of October. I think a lot of people are really looking forward to this. Kelly, what's your take on
That's the
Watchdog?
one round. It's not the one round London that I actually think looks really, really cool.
Yeah, that's the
And
one around
and the
London.
show Camden Market and stuff. I think that looks really, really cool. I'm actually looking forward to that game. So I am. So
Barry?
Yeah, exactly the same. I'm really looking forward to Legion. I was disappointed but understanding when it was delayed earlier in the year. But from all of the footage and some of the stuff that they've showcased as they've gone through the Ubisoft events, I think it's what we're starting to see is the delay's been worthwhile because it looks like it's become a lot more polished and it feels like it's something that's been worth waiting for.
Brandon, what about yourself?
I think it's going to be awesome, and I'm standing so it doesn't, screw up everything you guys are doing.
No, you just work.
It's gonna make a big difference. This is gonna show how Stadia works and how 4K 60 is, and it's gonna look really great. This game.
I think it is going to look really good. It's going to be really interesting to see if it's going to have all these things on it. One thing I want to add in here is something we sort of learned yesterday. Again, this may be an announcement for next week. We're going to be covering the announcements next week as they happen. So check that out. We're going to be doing a live reaction to it because there's been a lot of people actually wanting to do live reactions. We're going to do it. We're on record now as doing it, and Kelly's leading it.
is Kelly Lee Cricket to make fun of you?
Yes.
That's good because you come off with the most stupidest, randomest things, so I can make fun of that.
Yes, but back on point here. One thing we actually learned yesterday is that Chorus is going to be getting ray tracing on Stadia. So maybe what again, as Barry said earlier, this could be a bit of a precursor to getting some things. Will Watch Dogs have some ray tracing because they're actually really, really pushing that on the other versions? But Watch Dogs Legion is set in London. They're bringing back some of the old characters from the original Watch Dogs and Watch Dogs 2, and they're actually linking in Assassin's Creed to it as well. So it's all going to be really, really interesting to see how this is going to pan out here. The next game we're going to have a quick look at here is, there we go. I think we should start with this one. The original Watch Dogs, and we'll go back to Watch Dogs 2. The original Watch Dogs is part of the Legion Ultimate Edition on consoles. So this was sort of knew this one was coming. So I think, Kelly, you've had a bit of this before, but Barry, what's your take on this to start off with?
I spent quite a bit of time in Watch Dogs originally when it first came out, which I think was PS4, Xbox One time when it first launched. If I've got that right.
I think it was a cross-gen title. If you remember right, there was that big, massive controversy about it was the downgrade gate and everything was downgraded.
Yeah. And I remember how the concept of this game felt so kind of groundbreaking at the time with tapping into the hacking, and the scale of the world. I enjoyed the first one. It was, I don't think as they've progressed into the others, and I won't say too much about 2, but I think they've got better, which, I think certainly, hopefully that sets the stage for 2 and obviously the new one.
Brandon, are you okay to talk here?
Yeah, I can talk if you want.
Yeah, of course I want you to talk. That's why you're here. We want your opinions. What's your take on Watch Dogs?
I think it's a masterpiece, and it was great on the PlayStation 4, and it was really good. And I hope they bring upskilled it and fix all the problems they had in the beginning, because this is like the cards. There's a lot of problems that they had in the beginning. I hope they fixed a lot of things when they bring them over to Stadia. The driving and stuff, you guys know.
Yeah. Kelly, what about yourself?
I can't remember this game.
You can't remember this game? No worries.
I think it was Watch Dogs 2. Did I play it?
Okay, there's Watch Dogs 2. We'll move on to Watch Dogs 2. What can you remember Watch Dogs 2?
I can sort of remember. I just don't really, if that makes sense. I can remember playing it, but I just don't know nothing really much about it because I can't remember it.
Yeah,
That's so like Northern Irish, like, but
yeah. What we could do is, I think everybody's going to have their own specialist subjects, and I think everybody knows what mine's going to be when we get on to them.
Slide of Spire.
No, the Ubisoft games.
Slide of Spire.
Still Slade Aspire. Okay. Barry, what about Barry? I know you said you Watch Dogs 2. Take it away.
Yeah, absolutely. I have to be honest and hold my hands up. I didn't finish Watch Dogs 2 at the time. I think due to a lot of other games that I was probably playing in my library at the time. I jumped into it, played part way through, and then for some reason never came back to it. Which is one of the reasons I am so glad that it's going to drop on the platform, because I think it would be good to go back and replay it and experience it. Of course, another big city in the world in San Francisco in this one, but it was awesome from what I experienced so far.
Cool. Assassin's Creed Valhalla, we know that's coming out the 10th of November. I think we've done. I think everybody's done that to death. Everybody is really, really excited about this. You can choose what sort of Viking you want to be, a male or female, and then just go on to it. Now we're on to the games I can just sit and talk about a lot here. First one.
Why do you sound like you're underwater?
Is that better now?
Yeah.
The first game is Assassin's Creed Origins. This was the reboot for Assassin's Creed. This is set in Egypt. For me, this is the best so far of the two modern rebranded Assassin's Creeds. You've got Origins and you've got Odyssey. Origins for me is near enough perfect. It has the old school Assassin's Creed, and it's got the new, slightly more developed, where you've got the story mission, or not the story, you've got your customizations and things like that. I think it blended it perfectly, and it's a big game. For me, if I was decided people, your two choices are Assassin's Creed Origins or Assassin's Creed Odyssey, I would tell them absolutely go for Origins. I think it's the much better game, and I have completed both of them. I've completed both of them multiple times, and Origins is the best, and it is just really fun, and I just really enjoy it. Barry, what about you?
The thing that always sticks in my head with Origins is how impressive visually this game looked. I remember the first time that I put Origins on being absolutely wowed by, all of the backdrop, the scenery, the amount of detail that they put into it was spectacular. So again, bringing it to Stadia, I'm hoping then to be able to kind of look at where it maybe was when I previous played it on a previous generation, and then seeing just how good it runs on Stadia, because I've got a feeling it's going to be something special.
Yeah, I think we're going to touch on maybe that as a discussion point, and maybe at the end there.
Yep.
Brandon?
I played this game. Is amazing. The effects, I'm out of the wind, so that's good. It's going to look great on Stadia. It's just another game that I want to play. It's just another feature that I can play again. I didn't beat this game. I'm gonna have to waste my life with playing Ubisoft games now.
Yeah, Ubisoft games, you know what you're getting. Well, Brandon, we'll stick with you here. The next one is Assassin's Creed Syndicate. Have you played that? For people who don't know, Assassin's Creed Syndicate is the last one in the old style Assassin's Creed games, and it is set in London.
I played a little bit of it. It shows the artwork. It shows the graphics. The storyline was great. I didn't beat it. I went really far with it, but it is perfect. It shows London, like the true art of what London is in Assassin's Creed. It is really good.
Yeah,
it's gonna make it stay amazing.
Yeah. I'm looking forward to playing this as well. But I let other people think the talk before I go on. I can talk about all the Assassin's Creed games, and I think Kelly could actually 100% agree with me on that one. So Kelly, what Assassin's Creed Syndicate? This is the one which is set in London.
I haven't played it, but I have watched you play it. And I actually think it's great watching you play these games. It's not a game that I would actually play. I like the Odyssey better. But I am going to look forward to watching you play it on Stadia for your 100 hours that you're going to play it.
Barry, what about yourself?
This is one of the two in the Assassin's Creed series that I haven't actually played at all. So for me, I'm quite excited to be able to have the opportunity to jump back into it, which ordinarily I don't think I would have gone back and played it in any other scenario other than, the scenario we're going to find ourselves in later in the year.
Okay, here we go. I'm going to go WATCHDOGS on this one. Assassin's Creed Syndicate was massively overlooked because everybody got sort of Assassin's Creed out the time it came out. And because of Assassin's Creed Unity, really put people off because if you remember when Assassin's Creed Unity came out, it had a load of bugs in it and it really messed things up for the series. For me, Assassin's Creed Syndicate is the best old-style Assassin's Creed game. Yes, I think it's even better than Assassin's Creed 2. I think they just absolutely perfected Assassin's Creed with Assassin's Creed Syndicate. I could just sit and play that again, and I'm so looking forward to playing it again. I'm picking up all the achievements for it. Syndicate, for me, is the best old style one. You can choose between the Fry twins there. I choose Evie all the time, and I prefer her because it actually got two different builds as well. This is where they started sort of experimenting with the different sort of customizations and that. Absolutely an amazing game, and the DLC is brilliant as well. Again, I'll just double check what's actually said. Doesn't say if you're going to get the DLC included or not, but there's some real brilliant touches in this, and slight spoilers. So if you want to do spoilers here, hands over ears if you haven't played this before, you may meet somebody really famous and do some time traveling and meet Winston Churchill. So there you go. There's your spoilers. So it's sorry, Barry. It is really, really good. I can talk about this all the time. And again, I'm going to touch into specs later. What should we really be expecting these games to run at? But I'm hoping we're going to get this playing really well. Now we're going to come to the controversial game where many people actually love this game after it got fixed, and that's Assassin's Creed Unity, which is actually set in Paris in France. As many people know or famously know, there's loads of YouTube videos to actually show this. This game had an absolute mountain of issues when it first launched. However, this game seems to have aged very well. As we've seen over the last week or so, Xbox Series X is actually running this if you don't patch it. If you've got the disc and you just put it at 60 FPS, and it's meant to be amazing. That's Digital Foundry have done this, and it completely changes the game. So has anybody played this one and wants to talk about it? Barry, or is this the one you missed out as well?
It's the second one that I skipped.
Okay. Kelly?
Again, I just watched you play this game and asked you why all the French we dudes were talking in French.
See, Brandon, what about yourself with Unity? Did you actually play this?
I think you lost them.
Hello?
Yep, Brandon.
You hear me?
Yes, we can hear you. What did you think of Unity?
I beat it. I loved it. It's in French. It's and all that stuff, and it's amazing. The artwork, the story was better. That's why I like this UB Plus. It's gonna show me come back to all these games I loved. So
Yeah, but we're going to touch on it at the end because I think we've got a sort of hint of when Uplay Plus is coming. But we're going to come to that at the end. The next one is, again, I think we've talked to this one to death anyway before. It's Far Cry 6. Oh, yeah. Thanks, Dwayne, for that. Yeah, that is going to be an interesting thing. For Assassin's Creed Unity, there was actually a load of co-op in it. Will we see the co-op in the Stadia version of the game? Because as you can see here, there is 4 characters there, and let's hope the co-op is actually brought back for it and it's well implemented. And the next game is Far Cry 6. We know it's coming. We know it's coming to Stadia day and date, and I think we've covered this. So I just want to skip this on a wee bit because we already knew this one. The next 2 games, I think we'll just take them together, are Far Cry 5 and Far Cry New Dawn. We sort of discovered that Far Cry New Dawn was on its way because of the ESRB ratings and the PEGI ratings, where it actually came out that way. And Far Cry 5 was sort of assumed because of this being already coming. So, Kelly, Far Cry 5, I know you have played this. You probably don't remember playing it, but you have played this.
You get to shoot people in the head.
Yes. There we go.
I will replay it again because as long as you get to shoot people in the head, I am all for it. You're muted.
Yeah, I realised. Barry, have you played this? Have you completed it? Do you want to talk us about the game?
I really enjoyed Far Cry 5. I feel like I lost hours upon hours in this game, disappearing off and just into the wilderness. And it's another one of those games where you kind of forget to. It's easy to forget to focus on the campaign side of it. You can easily just go off wandering. But I think they did really well with the story in it. I love the story in Far Cry 5. And if I'm honest, it's definitely something I'd replay again. I'd quite happily jump back in and play it, which probably, for me, says a lot about a game.
Brandon, what about you? Oh, Brandon, I can't unmute you there, so you've got yourself muted there.
Hello?
There you go.
All right.
Yeah, hi.
It's amazing. I completed the game. The DLC is perfect on the game. It makes you want to come back, and I don't want to spoil anything. It's just well done. It's just well done. That game was perfect to me. It's just
Yeah.
And
you really like it?
it got a lot of criticized in America. But it's going to make the game be.
Oh, I think we've lost Brandon there.
Lost him again.
Oh,
yeah.
Hello.
Yeah. Hi. Right. Yeah. You're dropping out there, so I think I know what you were talking about there, so I'll just expand onto it. Basically, what Brandon was saying there, this game caused a lot of controversy over in America because this was the first Far Cry game to be set in America, and it was actually. I don't really want to go politicky here, but I think you can imagine why it got some criticism, especially in this climate at this moment in time. So this game is coming to Stadia, and the one above it, which was Far Cry New Dawn, was just like it's like an expansion to this, where you're playing the role of the two sisters there, I believe, and it's basically more of the same, more Far Cry. So the next game is Ghost Recon Wildlands. See, we've already got Ghost Recon. What's the Breakpoint?
Breakpoint,
yeah, got there in the end, and this was the one before it. And it's another open world where you can open world co-op game where you can go in and do things. Barry, what's your take on this game? Have you played it?
Yes, I did. I didn't play it for very long because when it launched originally on Xbox, it was terrible. There was loads of frame drops and all sorts. And if I'm honest, it was one of those games that I played for a bit, and I was just like, I didn't necessarily enjoy it, and I didn't appreciate kind of the quality. Given I played, because I remember I played the early beta of this, and then to play the beta and then the end release, it didn't feel like it advanced forward any. But having played Breakpoint and seen what they've done with that, hopefully they've been able to go back and apply some retrospective fixes to it and actually make it a more enjoyable experience.
Brandon, I'm going to come to you now.
Hi, how you doing?
Hi.
What's unmute you?
Yeah, I've got you unmuted there. Ghost Recon Wildlands, what's your take on the game?
It's another one like Far Cry 5, and you go in and you got a team, and it's like it's really good. It's really detailed, and I'm passionate with this game. I love this game more than Breakpoint. This game made me come back to Ghost Recons and make me come back into the franchise. It's the best one of all of them. So that's me.
Okay. Kelly, what about you?
Well, I haven't played this game, but I know I played that one that's on Stadia.
Yep, you played Breakpoint.
Which I don't think I could really get into, which is weird because if you can shoot people in the head, then it's just weird that I can get into it. But I will try it out to see what it's like. But I don't know.
Okay. I think this is another game which actually showcases Ubisoft's strengths. It came out a bit weak, and they've actually updated it and brought it up to par. That's one of Ubisoft's really good things they do. When they bring out a game, and if it's not at 100%, they stick with it and they keep trying to upgrade it. We also got a little bit of more things down the bottom here, and they've actually skipped off a game as well, which we will talk about. This isn't a big thing; it's just because it was just announced yesterday. So there's more Ubisoft games coming as well with Just Dance 2021.
You're so looking forward to that one.
Yes, Immortals Phoenix Rising, which we know we're getting the demo off as well. Scott Pilgrim versus the World, the game, and Riders Republic. We are also getting a Family Feud as well, and that's an Ubisoft game, which they've maybe forgot about there. So that's also coming. So we're going to talk about elephants in the room here. Oh, that's all funky there when you do that. There is a big game which has not been mentioned there at this moment in time, and that is Rainbow Six Siege. That was mentioned in a couple of listings saying it is coming to Stadia. And it is getting listed alongside the Xbox version, Xbox Series X version, and PlayStation 5 version. Why do you think they have not mentioned this? Do you think this is going to come next week as part of one of their announcements? So, who would like to go first? I'll go for Kelly first. Well, Brandon wants to go first. Go, Brandon. You need to unmute yourself.
Well, my house is stopped. The house showing is done, so that's good. I think they're gonna show a demo of Rainbow Six next week, and then say UB Plus, and then it's mic drop.
Do you think it's coming next week with what's announcement? That's a good shout. Kelly, what about yourself?
I have no idea, but I have played Rainbow Six Siege when I took it off my son and decided to steal his game for a wee bit. I was torturing him. I had to torture him. He's 18. You have to do these things. So you do. But I really think that's a good wee game because it's sort of like PUBG but better. So it would be good if I dropped it as a demo next week so that everybody could actually have a go at it and see what it's like before it goes on, like fully go on.
Barry, what about you? I'm going to see if you're going to say what I'm thinking of, but I'll let you go first.
Firstly, I mean, I think in terms of Rainbow Six as you know a title in its own right, obviously it's got a massive following. So it's one that we're certainly, I feel like we're going to see the benefits, hopefully, of Rainbow Six on the platform. I think we'll get a glimpse next week, potentially. But I think there are other things in terms of improvements, or not necessarily hardware, but graphical improvements that are maybe sitting, waiting in the wings that they want to talk about, that they are waiting to push the button on Rainbow Six, which puts it into the same category as the next-gen consoles. And I also get the impression, or not impression, more of a gut feeling, that we're also going to see Stream Connect in it.
I was waiting for someone to say it. That is why I think we have not got this at this moment in time. I think we're getting Stream Connect with it, and I think they're going to make a big splash to make that not as close to an esport on Stadia as you can get, because that is going to revolutionize that sort of game. I think that is why I think they've held it. Because Stream Connect with Rainbow Six Siege will just bring in so many extra layers. Again, with the way what PlayStation are doing with their Stream Connect like features, I think Stadia really needs to get on the ball and start pushing this out for as many different games as possible now. And Rainbow Six Siege is the perfect candidate for this, because it's the exact strategy game, or not strategy. It's a competitive shooter where you have to talk to each other to see where everybody is, and you can just see that being absolutely massive. And instead of having to shout out all your commands, you have a quick look up in the side of your screen to see what is going on there. So that is the big one there, and I can see. Yes, I see that. With that, I'm really excited to see what to do. The next big one in the room here is there's so many things here, but I'll just go back to this here for one wee second. I just want to highlight something here, because I think we can move on to the Uplay Plus sort of element to this, because I think if everybody is wanting to know when Uplay Plus is coming to Stadia and how it's going to come, so we're going to have a bit of a talk about that. At the stream, there we go. These games are coming to Stadia in holiday 2020. So holiday 2020 could mean two things, I believe. It could mean, is this coming Thanksgiving holiday, or is it coming Christmas sort of holiday? It's what do you think? And do you think this is just them setting up Uplay Plus? We'll start with Barry, since Kelly's in trolley mode.
Yeah, I think like I said earlier, it's a precursor to something else. I think they're setting up for a new Play Plus announcement. Yeah, I mean, for me, given the nature of kind of other consoles and the term holiday 2020, we know that kind of meant different things to the other players, which does kind of broaden the window that we could see. The only thing I do feel, though, is, and I think actually Rock touched on this in the comments earlier, is with this announcement so close, what does it mean for people that actually want to buy Watchdog Legions or or Assassin's Creed Valhalla, because I do think if we don't get an announcement next week, it could have implications for game sales for those two titles, because I think we could see people hold off purely just to have it as part of the subscription.
Kelly, what do you think this is a precursor to Uplay Plus? That's a subscription service which you can subscribe to get all the Ubisoft games. Do you think this is just getting everything ready for that?
It could be, but I have no idea about it. I don't know nothing about Uplay Plus, what their subscription fee thing is at all. I don't.
See, that's actually a very good question. That brings us on to our next point. Do we think Uplay Plus would be able to justify paying $15 a month for this, if this is all their games, even if we get Rainbow Six Siege? Or do you think what Rock has been talking about for months now? Do you think we're going to get some sort of special deal with Pro, as maybe added into Pro, like Microsoft has done with EA Play? Or do you think we're going to get it cheaper? Barry, sorry.
That's fine. Yeah, I do. I'm very much in Rock's camp when it comes to his thoughts on Uplay Plus. I know, obviously, I think he's more on the side of maybe it being included in Pro, whereas my gut feeling is we'll maybe see it at a very, very small increase over the top of the Pro cost. Certainly, looking at that library, I don't think it's going to warrant people jumping in and spending £15 a month. On top of that Stadia Pro subscription. I think that they're going to need to bring it in again, along, to get people to buy into it potentially, if they are going to charge extra for it.
That is it's very interesting. We've got a couple of questions. How much is Uplay Plus on PC, and how many games does it have? On PC, it's $15, £13 a month, and you get about 100 games with that. The games what you get with Uplay Plus, they also have a mouse and keyboard, and there'll be mouse and keyboard only support for them, like games like The Settlers, and you've got Anno and things like that. There's a wide range of games which have only keyboard and mouse. So this is going to be the very interesting key thing here. To expand this out slightly further, is just a paragraph below. The elephant in the room is Luna. Luna have said that they are bringing 50 games to their Ubisoft channel, and Stadia are saying this at this moment of time. So this wording may need to change shortly. Plus, what it says is, plus only on Stadia you'll be able to play new series entries like Watch Dogs Legions, Assassin's Creed Valhalla, and Far Cry 6 the moment they launch, without waiting for any download to installs. Luna are actually have already said that that's going to be happening in their service as well. So there's just so many moving parts here. So getting back to this, do you think they can justify that £13 a month, $15, or do you think it's going to be lower? Kelly, what do you think?
I would say it would be quite a bit lower, because if it's just them games, and if Luna is bringing out more, likely to really make it £15 a month.
Yeah, Brandon, thank you for joining us again. What's your take? Do you think it's going to be £15, $13, or sorry, $15 a month, £13, or do you think it's going to be something slightly different?
It's probably going to be $12 a month, because they have to go against Luna, and Luna has 50 games. That's crazy, and they have to compete. They have to they want to get us in first in the door, then Luna, because Luna is going to have all these games, but Stadia has coming games, and Luna has all these games coming, and they have to
put Stadia Pro and Uplay Plus together and just make it $15 a month, and then boom, that'd be awesome.
Yeah, I'm just going to raise this point. Say it for me, someone. Kelly.
Woolnock.
There you go. Woolnock. There we go.
Yeah.
He said that's a brave shout. Where it could be $5.99 a month if you're pro. If not, it's $9.99 a month. So that would be about for an extra $7-8 a month if you have pro, or an extra $12-13 a month in dollars. Just to do a rough sort of calculation there. Barry, is there anything else you want to add on to that?
No, I mean, I think Warlock's shout is on that pricing looks pretty. It could be spot on, potentially. I think it's a really good shout, and I think at that level, I think you'll get a good adoption rate for it. As a pro member, I think you'd be easily willing to throw £5-6 or the equivalent in dollars at it to expand the library by that amount.
Yeah, Rock, if you want to jump on here, you've got the link. You're more than welcome if you're finished your dinner. With this as well, I've accidentally clicked onto the big screen thing, which I didn't mean to do. Not an elephant in the room. This is going to be the big talking point. WatchDogs Legion and WatchDogs and our Assassin's Creed. I think we know roughly what we're going to get with them. I think it's going to be in line to what was already on the system. But what are the old games going to be like? Are these going to be 4K 60 FPS? And the big one is going to be Assassin's Creed Unity. Like we touched on during the discussion when we were talking about all these games, the Xbox teams, the Xbox Series X is running Unity at 60 FPS. Out from the box without any touches to it. So do we think we're going to be seeing these older games maxed out as much as they can? Barry?
Yeah, I think so for sure. I think given, as some people have said in the chat, we've known that Uplay Plus is coming for a long time. And they know what the capability of the current hardware set is on Stadia. Ubisoft, with that close partnership they've had with Stadia, incredibly familiar with how to develop and how to eke the best out of the platform. I think that's probably, in my opinion, been part of the delay, because they want to go through that catalogue of the older titles and make sure that when they come, they can go bang, they're 4K 60, because that has a real big impact for the platform to be able to say that, especially for some of those older titles as well.
Yeah, I think they're going to have to push it up. Also, we've got some news which we can talk about at the end of this as well, which has just came out. I will put it in the private chat so you can see it. It's not Ubisoft related, it's other stuff. Kelly, do you think they're going to try and push these older games as far as they can to make them all bright and shiny and run them really run better? Remember when the best way to describe it is when we're playing Destiny on the console, it feels slightly different to playing it on Stadia. It feels better on Stadia because it's a bit more smoother. Do you think they're going to push the older games to bring it up to the 60 FPS? That's what the smoothness is.
Well, we do not have to go alongside Stadia, and I have no idea about it. So, that's a stupid question to ask me, but it would be interesting to see if they did or not.
Yeah. And Brandon, what about yourself?
I think they're going to upscale them. Some of them games, if they can, like WatchDogs is really old. If they can upscale it, fine. If they can't, I'm not it's not big for me. It's just how the consumer is. It's just, if it's 4K 60 and 4K 30, I don't mind that. It'll be awesome if they get that, the games on and they run better. That's the problem. It has to run great on the platform. That's all I care about. And then the graphics, then that. I want it to run great for us to play it, and the consumer. That's what I want to see. I want them to run good.
Yeah. Yeah, for me, I think they're going to have to push these, especially with the way Xbox is actually pushing the back compat on their titles, where they're upscaling them and doubling the FPS on this. One thing I do want to add is, do you think we're going to get any other games? Because we're getting a lot of shouts here for the older Assassin's Creed. I know Holtz here is asking about Assassin's Creed Rogue Remastered, and then you've got the Ezio collection as well, and maybe some of the older Far Cry's, like the Far Cry 3s, Far Cry 4s, and things like that. Do you think they're actually holding them off to maybe boost the library later, or do you think they're thinking maybe it's not worth their time porting them across? And would you like to see them? Barry, what about you?
Yeah, I think it's certainly feasible that we'll see those come at a later stage. I think it makes sense for them to bring probably some of the more popular, more prominent Ubisoft titles as part of the Uplay Plus. It gives them a good ability then to look at some of the stats behind it in terms of who's playing what's the kind of favorites, which will steer what they can then do in terms of then bringing them to the platform. And that could potentially be a point where maybe, and I know this goes back slightly talking about where we were with pricing and that sort of stuff on Uplay. We could see it that this is what becomes almost a launch version of Uplay Plus, and when it kind of comes out of that introductory period, let's say for maybe 6 to 12 months, the pricing changes on it because then the category starts to inflate. Because I think it's going to take them slightly longer to port them onto Stadia. That's a fact, and when you put that up against Luna, that is the sole reason that Luna is probably going to drop those 50 easy because of a lot of the things that have been said already about it being Windows-based. I think that's just probably going to slow it down on the Stadia side, but there's no doubt. And yes, I'd like to, as many of the titles that they've got in their collection, stuff like For Honor or, any of the earlier Assassin's Creed stuff, if they've got the opportunity to bring it to the platform, they should, because the community will appreciate it and they will play it.
Yeah, I wasn't expecting this to go on so long, so I do want to sort of begin to wrap this up, but there's a couple more things I do want to talk about here. There is a couple of notable games missing there. We've talked about the Rainbow Six Siege, the new Rainbow Six Siege, a load of the older Assassin's Creed games. For Honor is another one. The big one there is the Splinter Cell. There is 0 Splinter Cell there. Could this Ubisoft partnership actually focus onto maybe getting exclusive titles to Stadia, or they're going to pay for development for maybe a Splinter Cell game? We've seen that they were actually open to this because they are doing a Assassin's Creed game and a Splinter Cell game for Oculus. So could this actually be pushed out here? And are they holding back some of these games for an announcement like that? What do you think, Brandon?
I think they're holding back, and they're gonna get something. They're gonna get something big, and then it's gonna be a mic drop. And then I think the Splinter Cell is coming, and then a Rainbow Six 3 Vegas might be coming. That'll be a big one. I think they're signing a contract right now to get something big on Stadia than Luna. That's what I think.
Kelly, do you think they're going to bring more of their back catalogue to you play, or do you think Ubisoft are going to bring more of their titles, and this is only the start of it?
I think it could be, because don't they have loads of games, and if they want people to buy them, and if they want to get on the Stadia more, then they would bring most of their stuff over for people to try out and play quite a lot of their library.
Yep. Barry? Yep.
Yeah, definitely. I've probably rambled on enough on that point.
Okay, I'm just going to come to the last piece of news here. This is involving, this is the breaking news, all that sort of carry on, the breaking news. And the breaking news is Mr. Phil Spencer has been talking. That is the head of Xbox. And he has said, Bethesda games are Xbox exclusive now. So if you want to play them, you're going to have to get in some way. So they're going to continue to meet all their contracts and that, but any new Bethesda games will not be coming to other platforms. But this was widely I will rephrase that. That was expected by a number of people thought this was going to happen, and a number of people didn't. So basically what this means, Fallout 6, or Fallout 5, and any of the new Dooms, etc., will not be going to other platforms. So you just need to prepare yourself for that. But what that means for Stadia and other other platforms in the short term is the games aren't going anywhere, and they will continue to be supported. So Elder Scrolls Online will still get the updates to Stadia. They will continue to fix it. They will get the expansions. But that means from now on in, any new games ain't going to other platforms, bar the contractual stuff which you've got for PlayStation 5 with their 2 exclusive titles. So, does anybody want to talk about that? Off you go, Barry. You're
I think it was probably, it was expected, but I feel like it was a very dangerous road and a bit of a tightrope. I know Rock said in the chat there that obviously Bethesda stuff doesn't interest him, but it does to a lot of people. I can't help but feeling like they are going to alienate a lot of gamers out there. There are some, we've all got our platforms of choice, and I can't see holding people to ransom to sort of say, if you want to play a Bethesda game, you need an Xbox underneath the TV, is the right way to go. If it had been me personally investing £7.5 billion dollars worth of money, I would have tried to have as many revenue streams as possible and make it about kind of exclusive DLC, maybe timed exclusives, so that they can get a jump, like we see with other platforms, and still continue. Because ultimately, I know Xbox are, they're one of the biggest in terms of that, the console space. But if that does not work out for them with people investing that money, they've just isolated a whole section of gamers there. And if you compare that to allowing those titles to go out onto PlayStation, Stadia, Luna, anything else that may come up in the future, it's a big deal, but I think they've lost revenue.
See, for me, I can see people saying, Stadia coach saying anti-competitive behavior. I'm telling you now, if that was a Stadia doing this and Stadia bought Bethesda, people who are bought into the Stadia ecosystem will be going clapping their hands. It all depends where your loyalties lie. This is something which I have been saying for a long time, is it's just going to come down to content, and you're going to flick between all these different cloud services depending on what content is there. I think a lot of people need to realize this deal is not going to actually affect anybody in the short term, short and even medium term. It's the longer term. We're talking about 2-3 years time before you actually see this deal actually really show its teeth. What's going to happen in 2 or 3 years time? xCloud is going to be absolutely everywhere, and it'll be a lot more mature, and you'll be able to play it on your phone. You'll be able to play it on your TV because there's going to be a dongle. There'll be some way to actually get it onto your TV as well. So again, this I think people may run with this and say uncompetitive, this is not right. But this is the world we're living now. It's content is king. If you have to get the content onto your platform for people to stay on it. So it is going to be wild going forward here. And again, the rumors are they've got another big deal coming as well. They're on the lookout for another big studio. There's been a lot of talk about Bungie and things like that. It is just something to keep an eye on going forward. Kelly or Brandon, do you want to talk anything about this? Brandon does. Yep. Go ahead, Brandon.
See, the long terms, what is the deal with Stadia? The contract with, then it's going to be Xbox dealing with them, and how's that going to do? Is they're going to sign with Stadia or Luna? Because in the future, this cuts the middleman, right? This cuts the middleman, Duncan.
What was that? Sorry, it cuts out the middleman.
Yeah, doesn't this in a couple of years the contracts in the future they can pull their games?
No. All the games are going to be safe. If you've bought, say, you've bought Doom Eternal on Stadia, you will always have access to Doom Eternal on Stadia. So you do not have to worry about the games going anywhere. Any games that you have bought are not going anywhere. This is just going to affect any new games. So when Doom number 3 comes, Doom Return to Hell or something, we'll just make we'll make up a
You've
title.
just created a game there.
I just created a game. When Doom Return to Hell comes out, it will only be on Xbox, or it will be on Xbox with in the cloud, whatever it's called, or PC. You will not be able to pick it up on Stadia or PlayStation. You'll only be able to play it on an Xbox platform.
All right. My other guess is Luna, the Channers, Xbox Game Pass. If they pay that money, they can get that. See, Stadia can just pay that money, right?
Yeah.
My future is, if the people on PlayStation fanboys are going to get mad, not buying companies. It's gonna go crazy, and well, Xbox One, that ecosystem, the buying companies and stuff, but Stadia can get their own company and their own things and make it better, and it's not a loss to me. It's just this is how we're going, and it's what Stadia gonna buy? Are they gonna buy Sega? Are they gonna get this? That's another thing.
Exactly, Brandon. You're making a brilliant point there. It is. This is what a lot of people have been calling for Stadia to go out. Is actually to start going out looking for these studios. They may have already got this because they seem to have just woke up and they are really, really pushing things now. So Stadia, I think, will go out and buy someone. I think Amazon are going out to buy someone. Microsoft, we already know they're going to buy someone. So we'll just finish up with your final thoughts about this. We'll go back to the nice positive news about Ubisoft and Stadia here. We're getting all these games. It looks like Uplay Plus is now going to be imminent. We've got it looks like there's probably going to be more Ubisoft games going to be announced as well, because we're like Rainbow Six Siege and Rainbow Six Quarantine, it's called. I haven't put them on the list there. So Kelly, what's your final thoughts there, and where can people find you?
Well, I think it's actually quite good that Stadia is getting into Uplay Plus, even if it's the smallest library to start off with, just to build up to see where they can go with them. And you can find me at Me1Kelly on Xbox, PlayStation, Stadia, and Nintendo Switch, and in a closet here.
Brandon, what about you?
Cloudy with Cloud Gaming Man at YouTube, Twitch, Twitter, Cloudy with a Chance of Games. You can see me on there always. Duncan does an amazing job. He has the greatest crew. Love you, dude. Thanks for having me on today.
No problem. Barry?
Yep. yeah, I think it's excellent news. It's positive. You know, there's a number of Ubisoft titles on the platform already, which are really enjoyable. I think I've actually got them all. So certainly Uplay Plus is going to be a bonus for me going forward. It might save me some cash. Other than that, you can find me on Twitter and on Stadia at Paramedic1703, and you can find me right here on Cloudy with a Chance of Games.
Okay, just before everybody shoots, I want to say two quick another announcements. I want to plug two things here quickly. I'm going to be putting a link into the chat here. Can I ask as many people as you can to go and visit Sammy on Stadia? He's actually live streaming now. He's a brand new streamer. He's a reasonably new streamer here, and he needs these people to come and view him here. I'm going to drop that link in there. He's really, really quite good, and it's Go watch him. And later on tonight, myself and Kelly are joining Rock Stars at Night, where everybody is the star. So you come here there. It's like our Cloudy play-alongs. Everybody can jump in and play along, and that's what we are really passionate about. I know me and Kelly, Baz, and Cloud Gaming Man Brandon here is really we really love getting people in and playing. And please come and join us later as well. And I want to shout out Andy Morse here as well. Go check him out. Go watch him get cakes in the eye and all that sort of stuff. So I've just dropped the crazy wee dude, as Kelly calls him.
Crazy wee dude.
So I've just dropped that link into the chat there. So if you can go check out Sammy there and say we sent you to him, and that would be really, really really appreciate it. So again, thank you all for watching. We're trying to get these out a lot more quicker now, and we love having these wee chats and stuff, and Kelly just likes abusing me. So so thanks everybody, and we've got Cloudy play along on Sundays as normal. So thanks everybody, and see you later. Bye.
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 Bye.